surprised. We don't meet until Monday afternoon.
Yes, I've returned sooner than expected. Dr. Choswell, I hope you're well.
Mr. Worthing, I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother.
Or shameful debts and extravagance.
Still leading his life of pleasure?
Dead!
Your brother, Earnest, is dead?
Quite dead!
Well, listen for him. I trust you will compromise.
Mr. Worthing, I offer my sincere condolences. You do have the knowledge that you were always the most generous and giving of brothers.
Yes, poor Ernest. He had many faults, but this is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Were you with him at the end?
No, he died abroad. In Paris, in fact. I received a letter from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, I'm afraid.
As men sow, so shall he reap.
Charity, Miss Prism. Charity. None of us are perfect. I, for one, am particularly susceptible to drafts. Mr. Worthing, where do you wish the ceremony to be taking place?
He seemed to express a desire to be buried in Paris.
In Paris! That hardly points to any serious state of mind at the last. I presume that you wish for me to make some slight allusion to this terrible domestic affliction this coming Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the manna in the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion. Joyful, or in this case, depressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation, and festal days. The last time I preached it was at the cathedral as a charity sermon for the Society of the Prevention of Discontent in the Upper Orders. The bishop, who was attending, was much struck by some of the analogies I drew.
Dr. Choswell, I think you mentioned christenings, right? I mean, you know how to christen all right. You are continuing with christening, aren't you?
It is, I regret to say, one of the Archbishop's most constant duties in this parish. I've often spoken to the poor classes on this subject. They don't seem to know what drift is.
Mr. Worthing, is there any particular infant in which you're interested? I believe your brother was unmarried.
Oh, yes.
People who live life in terror for pleasure usually are.
But, my dear doctor, this is not for any mere child. No, in fact, I wish for this to be for myself. This afternoon, if you have nothing better to do.
Mr. Worthing, surely you've been christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
Do you have any grave doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have. Unless you think I'm a bit too old or it would bother you in any way.
Oh, not at all. The sprinkling and indeed immersion of adults is perfectly canonical.
Immersion?
Oh, you need have no apprehensions. Sprinkling is all that is necessary, and in my opinion advisable. Our weather is so changeable. What hour do you wish the ceremony to be performed?
Oh, I might trot around about 5.
Perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies that I will be working at the same time. A case of twins that occurred recently at one of the cottages of your estate.
Well, I don't see the fun of being christened with other babies. That'd be silly. Would a half-past 5 do?
Admirably. And now, Mr. Worthing, I will leave this. Do not be too bowed down by grief. More often than not, bitter trials are blessings in disguise.
This seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind. Uncle Jack,
Oh, am I pleased to see you back. What horrid clothes you've got on. Do go and change them.
Cecily!
Greetings, my child.
What is the matter, Uncle Jack? Do look happy. You look as if you had a toothache. And I have got such a surprise for you. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother.
Who?
Your brother Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
What nonsense! I don't have a brother.
Oh, don't say that. However badly he may have treated you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. I will go and get him, and you will shake hands with him. Won't you, Uncle Jack?
These are very joyful tidings.
Having resigned his loss instead of term seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother's in the dining room? What nonsense! I don't have a brother. This is absurd. Good heavens!
Brother Sean, I have come from town to tell you that I'm very sorry for all the trouble I have caused you, and I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, if you don't shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Then this is the last time I shall ever do so.
It's perfect. Is it not? You see such a pleasant reconciliation. I think we should leave these two brothers together.
Cecily,
Alone.
you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism, my little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a great deed today, dear child.
We must not be too premature in our judgments.
I feel very happy.
Algie, what are you doing here? I don't allow any fun bearing here. You've got to leave at once.
I have put Mr. Earnest things in the room next to your own, sir.
What?
His luggage, sir. I've unpacked it and put it in the room next to your own.
His luggage.
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay for more than a week at this time.
Merriman, call the dog cart. Ernest has been called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful liar you are, Jack. I haven't been called back to town at all.
Of course you have.
I haven't heard anyone call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you.
My duty as a gentleman hasn't interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily is a darling.
You are not to talk to Miss Carter like that. I do not like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. Why don't you go and change them? It's perfectly childish to be in deep mourning for a person who's actually staying a whole week with you. In your house, as a guest. I call it grotesque.
You are not staying with me for a week as a guest or anything else. You've got to leave by the 4:05 train.
Oh, well, I certainly wouldn't leave you while you were in deep mourning. It would be most unfriendly if I did. You would stay by my side if I were in mourning.
Well, if I change my clothes, will you go?
Yes, if you were not too long about it. Never seen someone take so long to dress and with such little result.
Well, in any case, it's better than always being overdressed as you are.
If I am occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being always immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous, your conduct an outrage, and your presence in my garden is utterly absurd! You have got to leave by the 4:05 train. I wish you a pleasant journey home. This bun bearing, as you call it, has not been a great success.